Hey, everybody out there in streaming land. Welcome to another little bit of Court of Blades. Now, this is not the crew that you're used to seeing play. This is my daughters and son-in-law, and they're going to be doing a little bit of downtime tonight from the last time we got to play a million years ago, and then hopefully we'll get to move into a score. We'll see how this all works out this evening. So, without further ado, I will bring in the players. There you have them. Off to my, or just below me is Krista, my oldest daughter. Can you tell me a little bit about your character, Krista?
So my character's name is Samson Degato. He is from the Dagger Isles and has a wiry look. His alias is Saber because that's what he fights with. He was formerly a smuggler, and that's where his friends are from because he smuggled some of the Scoflander, I believe it was the Scoflander, yes, family over, and that's who his connections are.
Very good. So just across from her, you can see Trent, my son-in-law. Can you tell us about your character, Trent?
I certainly can. So my character is Gavin Grind. He is a Scovelander, a rather weathered-looking man. You can often see him adorned with his fur cape and tricorn hat. Um, he he was originally his occupation. I guess you can say is like a hound. He was the tracker in the Scoveland Recon Battalion during the Unity Wars, as this isle likes to call it. But unfortunately, Scovelanders lost that conflict, and we had to take refuge over on this island.
And what is does he have a moniker he goes by?
His alias is Hunter.
Got it. Brilliant. And just above him is Cora, my other daughter. Can you tell us a little bit about your character, Cora?
My character's name is Kane, just Kane. He's Taikarosi. He's very pale, black features, eyes, hair, everything, just very dark. And mysteriously, he's always gloved. And he'll tell you he just doesn't like germs.
Nice.
Don't ask about it. He was previously a butcher, is what he enjoyed. His alias is the Reaper.
Okay. The Reaper. So I wrote you down as Kane, but I'll change that really quick just so it looks like that. Let's see here. And if anybody's wondering, I'm using XSplit Broadcaster, Roll20 tonight, as well as the Skype VDI capabilities therein. This particular game, Blades in the Dark, phenomenal little book here. It's by John Harper. We really enjoy this game, and it makes for some easy, fun role playing. And we're using multiple systems in my particular playing group. I just lost Krista's video.
She's running to get something.
Gotcha, no problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take us across to Roll20. Where we have our Roll20 map up in the middle here. We can see sort of how you guys are dealing with things. You have a couple of groups that don't like you, the Forgotten Gods, the Horde. You see the city council sort of likes you guys for some reason. The Lamp Blacks are ambivalent nowadays. And the Gray Cloaks are pretty much at war. If there's any way that they can bother you guys, they will. All right. And then we had a couple of clocks that were going, but I think those do not apply right now. Their Horde finds the crew, and Marn, which is Captain Drake Marn, figuring out what was going on with you guys. And I just moved the background all over the place. So I will go here. Tokens, better. I will remove that. But I am going to keep Captain Drake Marn on there because he is still trying to figure out who destroyed that manor and caused all that death, destruction, and the craziness with all the holes.
It's Cthulhu.
It was Cthulhu. That guy is everywhere. So we will now go into the downtime activities. If you remember, everybody has downtime activities, 2 of them, as well as you can spend coin for extra. Okay, so for me, I'm going to bring up my rule book so I can look at the downtime activities. You can acquire assets, perform long-term projects, recover, reduce heat, train, and indulge vice. So just sort of working our way around. Let's go first off to Cora's character. And what would you like to do with your first downtime activity, Reaper?
Is there anything I can do to get rid of that slash to the chest?
Yes, you absolutely can. So that's called recovery.
Mm-hmm.
And what we'll wind up doing is, well, first off, I'll go back to the book and jump down just to make sure I do this correctly. When you recover, you seek treatment and heal your harm. You might visit a physiker who can stitch your wounds and soothe your mind with anatomical science, or a witch or someone who specializes in healing charms and restorative alchemy. If you don't have a contact or fellow PC who can provide treatment, you can use the acquire asset activity to gain access to a healer who can provide this service for the whole crew. Recovery is like a long-term project. The healer, so the character for the healer, rolls Tinker, and actually the healer says rolls Tinker for PC with Physiker. Then you mark a number of segments equal to what you rolled. So if you roll Tinker, if you roll a 1 through 3, it's 1 segment. 4 to 5, 2 segment. And if you roll more than that, a 6 is 3 segments. And if you had a critical for some reason, you get 5 segments. So, do you guys have a physiker that you know of? And if not,
I
would
feel
you
like we did, but I don't remember.
I know my character will often go to Ivan from Coleridge. I have him down as a tier 1 doctor, although I suspect he might have helped me because of my ethnicity. So
So where do you have
it
that
might
down?
be.
You have that
Yeah.
down in your notes?
I do, yes.
I see it. Ivan from Coleridge, tier 1 doctor. Absolutely. So if you feel like using that particular character as someone for this, in fact, if you wanted to go along, feel free.
Yeah, Ivan might need someone to vouch for them.
So where is your boat parked up?
Last I checked, it was in the little inlet between Six Towers and Night Market.
Right there. All right. So if you would like to leave it there, you can just disembark and walk through the backside of Night Market and over to Coleridge.
I have no issues with that.
All right. So how many of you guys are going?
I'm going.
All right.
I was
So
going to say Reaper needs to go, and I'm assuming I'll tag along as well.
yeah, you could go to at least provide an introduction. That sounds like a great idea. And Trent, what was the your character's moniker again? Oh yeah, it was Hunter. Sorry about that. All right. And Krista, just one more because I am going through and fixing these on the video stream.
I think she was Saber.
That's correct. Gotcha. All right. So the two of you disembark. It is what you would consider morning in this world of darkness. The shards of the sun have crept up above the horizon and are sort of hanging there low, providing long shadows that are very faint. There's a very light rain, almost mist, a heavy mist that's sort of falling as you guys work your way across through Night Market and the bridge to Coleridge. That falling rain is thick enough that it's providing a little bit of cover for visibility. And then you slip into the backside of Coleridge and maneuver your way across to where you know that Ivan is working. What exactly does his place look like? Where is it?
Um, so it's been a little bit since I've been in this setting, but I believe Cold Ridge is not a particularly wealthy area.
No.
Um, but he does, because of his practice, he does have, I would say, a solid structure that keeps the rain out. Um, Probably one of the few in this area.
Is he
He
off of
does.
Main?
What's that?
Is he off a main street or is he off a side street alley?
He's not on the main avenue, but if you go like a block or two from there, you'll see there's usually a line of refugees waiting to get into his office.
All right. At this time in the morning, there are about two people still standing outside. There's an elderly lady with a bit of a cough, and then there's a young man that his arm is hanging from his side at his side, and he seems to be in a decent amount of pain. The door opens, and you see a young lady wave in the next person, which is the elderly lady. Evidently, their idea of triage here is first come first serve. And not too long later, she leaves with a little bottle in hand, um, and is looks fairly pleased. In goes the next person, and you guys are still standing outside in the mist, which is now turning to a light rain that's coming down, and it makes that sound on your tricorn hat that sort of has accompanied most things in your life here in Duskfall. Um, this is a longer wait, and the drips form the edges of the tricorn hat and drip. Um, your cut is stinging, Reaper, but it is what it is.
Makes me feel alive.
And not too much later, like it. Not too much later, the door opens and out pops the person who had that broken arm, and it's bound up nicely, and he heads off into the morning gloom. And the lady waves you guys in. It's a single room. There's a a bed that is raised on a couple of bricks so that it's high enough that if you sit on it, you can sort of lean back into it and sit on it. And also, it makes it where Ivan, if he's dealing with you, is not having to stoop over. Ivan's on a rolling chair next to a desk. And he's taking a couple of notes. He turns around. Oh, Hunter.
Ivan, pleasure seeing you again.
Long time no see. I see you have a friend with you.
I do, yes. This is Reaper. Unfortunately, got a rather nasty little gash on her chest, but it doesn't look too bad. I'm sure nothing you can't handle.
Very good. Hop up here. Very good. And he proceeds to clean the wound. And he says, "So, how'd you get this? Or should I ask?"
I fell.
You fell into a door. I understand. Fell down the stairs and into a door. Got it.
That door was very sharp.
He just chuckles. He goes, "I don't think this is going to take any stitches." He says, "Let me just apply a little bit of this." He puts a little poultice upon you, and then he takes some clean gauze, puts it across, and then sort of uses um, he binds it around your chest because there's really not adhesive type things at this point. And he says, "Come back in a couple of days. We'll take a look at that and see how it's going. But you should be all right. You can go ahead and roll now, Cora. The tinker roll."
Tinker roll. Oop. Sorry, I'm trying to find it on here.
It should be
Under insight at the top
There.
of character mode.
Yep. And so you don't have anything in that.
Mm-mm.
So you wind up. Actually, he's a tier 1, so I think it's rolled off tier and not off of you. And that's what that is. So you will actually roll 1 die in Tinker. I was doing that incorrectly. So just click on the dice symbol on the side of the screen, click D6, and let's see what happens.
Gotcha.
And you are not displaying. That's okay. And I'm not seeing it
4.
coming up as 4. Okay, and I didn't even see that come up on my chat.
Why is it
So
not displayed?
a 4, if we remember correctly, is a, let me see here. I apologize. We're doing recover. It's 2 pie pieces.
Oh, perfect.
So you all healed up?
All healed up.
Wonderful. And so that is your first activity.
Okay.
So let's move across then and go to Hunter's first activity.
All right. I know 2 things I want to do, but I'm trying to figure out what order to do them in. Let me go ahead and indulge in my vice.
Very nice. And what is that vice?
That vice is an obligation to a person called Hutton. He was a squad mate back in the Unity War that warned me of a situation that would have absolutely led to my certain death. And right now, in this city, he helps the Scoveland rebels within town.
Okay. So where do you think you can find Hutton? And what do you think he needs?
Where I could find him, I'm trying to find a map of what the Isles look like.
There's a lot of Scovelanders in Char Hollow and in Coleridge, as far as the lower class areas. There's some up in Crow's Feet, and then there's even some down across the river, down by the penitentiary, if it comes to that.
I'll say Coleridge. That looks like a good spot
Coleridge.
for an insurgency.
So as you depart with your friend Reaper from the seeing Ivan, you guys part ways, or you gonna follow him, Reaper?
So I'm gonna tell Reaper. You can go ahead and head back to the boat. I need to check on a few more folks before I head back that way.
I just give him a nod and walk the other way.
Very good. Very, very good. Okay, so you're now in Coleridge looking for your friend from the Unity War, and you say that he is sort of involved with some of the rebellion, huh?
That's right. I can't attest to how successful that rebellion is, but they're certainly trying.
Very, very good.
So I would imagine the sort of help that he might need is as a tracker, maybe finding a person for supplies. That would be my guess.
I'd like you to make a roll of some sort to find him.
Okay. Let's do hunt.
Perfect.
What position would that be?
You're going to be you're in actually it's not risky. What is it? It's a control position. Be a standard effect. Yeah. Look at that, 6.
All
It
right.
does not take you long. You hear. Tell me how you go about this hunting, and I'll sort of describe how you find him.
Um, some of the locals might not know, but people that want to be rebellious, and he very well knows this during his time in the Unity Wars, they carry themselves a little bit different. So after seeing a couple of folks in the avenue kind of dart down a dart down an alley, he knows, okay, they're heading somewhere.
Got
You
it.
know, the
So,
base moves fairly often, so it does need a little hunting.
what is the name of this dive that you are
Uh,
going to go into and find him? It looks a little bit like a sailor's bar
Sailor's Bar.
or a river barge bar.
Um, we'll call it the spittoon.
The spittoon. Nice. It's got a low door in the side of the building. You have to stoop a little bit to step in. The ceiling has multiple rafters that run the same direct, like from the door all the way across the room. They're dark brown. The ceiling probably would have been white in between those. They're only about a foot apart, but it's now a uniform yellowish color, yellowish brown, where the fumes from the candles, the the candles, the smoke that comes off of the uh, ill-refined um, mess that they get from hunting the leviathans, the leviathan blood that's not nearly as refined into electroplasm. You can burn that stuff. It reeks a little bit, and also is a bit poisonous. You can see that not only is this a low ceilinged place, it is a place with low um, standards as far as what they're serving. It is uniformly fermented mushroom beers, right? Um, it's what the poor get, and sometimes they'll refine that up to a really earthy, dark liquor, um, and that seems to be really popular here. What would we call that earthy, mushroomy liqueur?
In our in our world.
What do you want to call it in this world?
Oh, and that's in this world. Well, I would suppose the poor, that's all they drink, so they would just call it liquor.
Very good. So there's liquor for sale, and like I said, the mushroomy beer, which by the way is uniformly flat. Um, just that's how it is. And you also see that there's some folks doing some spark in the back room, taking a couple of lines of that type of stuff. And you see your friend over by the spark table. He's not taking any, but he is handing over a parcel to somebody back there.
Okay. First, I'm gonna go up to the bar, get myself a liquor.
Mm-hmm. So yummy.
So yummy. And I'm gonna walk over to Hudson with a cup in my hand.
The cup itself is actually earthenware, so you see the color of this purely from the reflected lights coming from the burning leviathan blood, and you can see that your friend is talking to a very large man with a big beard. You recognize him immediately as Ulf Ironborn.
Oh,
Ulf is a Skovlander who is making his way here in this town by running a gang, and he pays a lot of good lip service to the Skovlander cause, but most of his time is spent in gathering funds, which of course are going to be for the uprising.
Right. Can you remind me which gang Ironborn runs?
Ulf Ironborn is just his name of his faction. If you were to look that up,
Okay.
so if I were to look it up, in fact, I'll sort of run across there and see if I can find it. Ulf Ironborn, he's a tier 1 faction. Um, Ruthless, Savage, Bold. And another man next to him, Havid, is his second. They have a small but powerfully savage gang of thugs. And they are refugees also from the Unity Wars.
Okay. Uh, so I'll just kind of discreetly walk over to Hudson. Um, Say, friend, it's been too long.
He turns
It's good
quickly on
seeing
you,
you.
almost a little bit too quickly. Um, you don't think he's using Spark, but maybe he has at some point. A little jumpy. He goes, "Oh, Hunter, I'm glad you could join us. Have you met?" And he turns and puts his hand at Ulf. My patron now, Ulf Ironborn.
I don't believe we've met formally.
The guy, he stands, he heaves his big self up off of this broken down couch
Mm.
against the wall, and it creaks, of course, as he stands up, and he has to hunch almost head and shoulders down. He is a big, savage looking man, but he reaches out and clasps your forearm in Skovlander fashion, and you guys give a nice hearty arm shake. And he pulls you in, belches in your ear, hugs you tight, and says, "Ah, another Skovlander brother come to the fold."
Um, I, I'll
Another
I'll
drink for
acknowledge.
my friend.
I'll
Pardon.
I'll acknowledge that. But, but privately, Hunter here is for Hudson. That's
Oh
where his
yes,
obligation lies. So
yes.
he he'll kind of quietly, not like super secretively, but just quietly speak to Hutton. Say, so do you have any errands that I might need to run? I have a little bit of downtime.
Ah, he says, actually, that's a great idea. And he turns to Ulf. Our friend Hunter, he runs a small gang. They can do stuff. And
Oh,
Ulf
okay.
goes, really? So you got a little gang, huh? How many of you are there?
Well, I think gang is a little too generous of a term. We I think there's probably about 3 or 4 of us just doing odd bits and ends, that sort of thing.
Really? He says, I tell you what, I'll keep you in mind for things that may help our Skovlander cause. And he pats the packet that your buddy just dropped off there and gives you a little wink.
All right. I'll kind of give him a nod. I don't. Is he? Does it look like he's about to leave?
No, it looks like he's
No.
settled in for the evening.
Okay.
It's a good try, though.
All right. I'm still not entirely clear what they want me to do at this point. I'm just. He called for another drink. I'm assuming it's coming
Oh,
soon.
yes.
Okay.
So as you guys go through the second round, you get the gist that Hutton has been running Spark for Ulf's group to help get some funds to buy much needed weapons for the Skovlander citizens in their uprising. Of course, they've had to spend some money up front refurbishing Ulf's hideout because it was in bad shape, and that makes it really hard to administrate.
Right. Okay.
And they said, "What Ulf leans forward, steeples his fingers. He goes, your friend Hutton, I was going to send him on a job. He's been a bit high strung lately. Could probably use some time off. What if I asked you guys? There's a ship coming in.
I raise my eyebrows. I'm listening.
The Goblin Ranger. Should be in port tonight, tomorrow night. In their hold, there's a barrel, so I've heard. And this barrel just says liquor on it, of all things. This barrel might or might not have several of these packets right here, Pats. I sure could use knowing if that was the case. I could even use more if I got those. And someone else didn't. Go ahead and roll for your burning your stress here. I think this is
Okay.
you've helped out your friend enough by giving him possibly a bit of a break,
Gotcha.
even if
So
you
it's
don't
the
do it.
so
So
it's the lowest die I have, which is one die, I believe.
yes,
Okay.
right.
Let's see. I got
So get a
4.
4. Okay, how much stress did you have?
5.
That's not a
Nice.
bad. That's not a bad thing. Yeah, absolutely.
Keep this under control. All right.
Absolutely.
All right. And it
Okay.
looks like we got ourselves a bit of a mission.
Okay. And then let's move on. We'll sort of close out that without you actually committing to anything, and we'll see how that plays out. And instead, we'll move across to uh, Krista's character, Saber, and see what she does for her first downtime activity.
Saber, as is his way, after a big score and a lot of stress, he's gonna go drink.
He
Gonna go
is.
to Clara's Tavern.
What's the name of the tavern again?
I don't remember the name of the tavern, but it's owned by my friend Clara. Or
Clara.
Clyde.
Okay. So you're going to Clara's. I got it. Where is that?
It's in Night,
The night market.
wherever.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're right up next to that. Your pockets are full, your heat is high, and you step out in the night market for a bender. As you do. So tell me a little bit about Claire's. So night market goes up and up. It's multiple floors. There's small bridges. Some of them are nice bridges. Some of them are just gangplanks across. Some of them are hanging bridges. There's walkways and balconies around the edges of these tall buildings, and then of course winding amongst them all are the small canals that only are a gondola or two wide. So where do you think in that hive of activity do you find Claire's?
I think she was on the third floor, up a couple levels, and just in amongst the muck.
Very good. So you climb up. Do you go up the very building that she's in, or one of the adjacent ones across, or do you start wherever you are, just getting off your boat and climb up and start going across the same rough level?
I imagine I climb up to the third level and then go across to her.
So you just move roughly third level across. It changes a little bit from building to building, just depending on how they've compacted their floors, but you can sort of keep track of where you're supposed to be. And you move across a very nice, up front, closer to the main canal, a very nice bridge that's about 2 people wide. It's arched. It's made out of um, wood reinforced with metal, and it's covered. You move across that, past another couple of buildings, and then you have to go across a gangplank, which is wide enough for just you, and there's a couple of cinder block type things on either end to keep it from moving too much. You skip across that, and not too far ahead, you see Claire's. Claire's is almost always open. When they close, really, it's they just have someone stand there and say, "We're cleaning for a couple of minutes or whatever." Um, though the cleaning's not all the time. And so instead of a main door, they've got two swinging doors like you would see in the old Wild West. You just sort of push through, and inside is actually fairly bright. Claire likes it bright, and she has mounted multiple electroplasmic run lanterns along the walls, and they are putting out a decent amount of light. Now, when I say a lot of light, this is duskfall, so it's more light than you're usually used to inside. But she keeps a fairly tidy place and offers multiple different drinks to include, for a decent price, real beer,
Ooh.
and it's called real beer.
Good. I think since it's a special occasion, I'll start with a good pint of real beer.
Nice. She has
And
several.
then I'll move on to the liquor.
Very good. So they do have actually some grain liquor, which is radically expensive as well. They also have that mushroomy liquor that's served in the street
Yeah,
bars.
I'll take some of that earth liquor.
There you go.
Ooh.
So you are working your way towards what you've got to do. So let's go ahead and make that roll.
Okay. So I roll my lowest, is that it?
Yes. So it's
Like, so if insight only has one thing that's lit up, I roll insight.
just a minute. I'm just taking a really quick look at your character just because I wanted to. So insight has one, absolutely. So you can actually click on insight, the word itself, and that will give you what you're wanting. It will ask you if it's risky and everything else. It's just put
And
whatever
no
you want.
bonus dice.
Yeah,
I
just
don't
put
think
whatever
so.
you want in there, and then let's find out what happens. Okay. Well, that's interesting. How much stress do you have?
7.
Well, in that case, that's a really good thing. So
That was extraordinary lucky.
that was wonderful. So you clear out all but one of your stress, and it is a night to remember,
Or not.
or not. Very good. Okay, we are back to Cora for your second downtime activity. So you can do acquiring an asset, which you probably don't need right now, long-term projects if you wanted to start one. Probably not the best choice just
Might
because.
take the heat off. What do I need to do to help get rid of
Reduce
some of the
heat.
heat?
That's a really good one. So
Yeah.
what we're looking at for that is you say what your character does to reduce heat and make an action roll. Maybe you consort with friends and tell a different story. Maybe you command some locals. Maybe what I don't know what you do, but then you will roll and your result, 1 to 3, you reduce your heat by 1, 4 to 5, you reduce your heat by 2, 6 by 3, a critical by 5. So what do you think you're going to do to try and throw people off that you guys are behind the monstrous attack on that building?
Okay. So I'm gonna go to one of the places that sell said liquor.
Okay.
I'll have maybe 1 or 2 drinks, but I'll be acting like I'm very drunk
I'd like to
and
know which district you're in.
Which
Remember,
district?
the
Where?
6 Towers is where you guys knocked the thing down.
No.
You're near Night Market. Coleridge is where the Scovelanders are. That where Hunters actually, yeah, where Hunter's been recently. Chart Hall. You've got the university and other stuff like that. So you can see the different districts. Where are you working this?
Where is like middle class area?
Yeah, well, 6 Towers, honestly, where you actually had the event.
But I don't want to run into anybody that was actually there.
Good idea. Do you want to
So
scoot over just a
maybe
little bit over
town
into
number.
Chart Hall?
Yeah, I guess. I think that sounds like a good plan.
All right.
Or to Charter Hall.
Gotcha. And I'll do this real quick. So, Charter Hall is the site of the first major construction in the city in the days before the Cataclysm. The old wall upon which was built the first lightning barriers in the Empire still stands in partial ruin around the district. The area is now home to the civic offices of the government, including the courts, licensing, examination offices, banks, and record archives. City officials and students at Chart Hall University live here, along with the captains of imperial industry who prefer to reside within sight of their fortunes.
Okay.
Okay.
It's in a good place.
All right, you find a place. What's the name of this place?
Big Fish.
Big Fish. Got it. So, Real Big Fish, the place is open for business. There's a sign outside. It's got the fish. It's leaping, and there's an eel chasing it, and it's got a it's being run with electroplasm, so it sort of is animated, where you get the fish that sort of goes up, 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 with the eel going over, following it, but it flickers a little bit. Inside, you also have electroplasmic lamps, those small, and they're in the center of each table in small globes. And there's numerous people inside enjoying light meals and drinks.
Gotcha. Is there a bar area?
There is.
So not
just
okay.
over to, it's actually, no, it's in the center. It's a circular bar in the center with tables all the way around it, but it also has stools all the way around there.
Perfect. Okay. Shake out. Get loosened up. I walk in. I'm already pretend I got a little sway, little stumble, sorry, bumped into someone's chair. Sorry. Make me to the bar. Barkeep, have one of your liquors, cheapest.
He looks around because this place is a little bit nicer. He goes, okay. He reaches under the bar and pulls out everything else is cut crystal or glass, but he pulls out the earthenware jug. It's got a big cork in it, and the cork itself looks pretty darn old, and there is a small mushroom growing out of it. He sort of flicks that aside to the trash can, uncorks it, sort of turns his head a little bit from the smell, and then pours that into one of the crystal glasses, and you can see it's a little bit sludgy going in, which is about how it's supposed to be.
Okay.
I don't know if you're supposed to drink this out of a crystal glass.
Yeah.
Probably not supposed to see it that well.
Oh well.
Okay.
As he's pouring, I'll ask, let me see, I'm gonna bring this up. Did you see what happened? All the destruction. Oh my word.
Yeah.
So many friends saw that.
We heard that there's a Scovelander named Hunter who did it. I'm just joking. He goes, yeah, that was a deal. Eh?
Yeah.
They're still hunting for who did it.
Yeah, they don't want us to tell everyone because it's not done yet. but several of my companions, people I know, all my friends in the gray coats, they're going after someone. Take the drink.
Says you might want to keep that down. Even the term gray cloaks not talked about here.
Oh, shh.
You can see that the person next to you is heard and turns and whispers to someone else. Go ahead and make your roll.
Okay, let's see what I'm gonna roll.
And the rumor has started.
Yeah.
So I have a question. The Great Cloaks are the cops, right?
No, they're the fallen cops. That have turned to
Ooh.
being a criminal gang. The bluecoats are
Cool.
the
Blue coats for the cops. I already
cops.
said it, so it was too late. I'm going with it.
Hey, they
Figured
don't
you
like
wouldn't
you.
ask
They
for
already don't
reference.
like you guys, so it's not going to hurt. So
Exactly.
so you do say what your character does, and I think you can say this is consort. You can say this is sway. I mean, you tell me what you think it is, and I'll tell you the position.
I think sway. I'm not commanding. No. I think sway because I'm trying to
Persuade. Okay,
deceive them and make them manipulate the situation a bit.
perfect.
So
This is actually going to be risky, largely because you may well be remembered depending on how this goes, and that could get around. So it's risky, but it will have standard effect. If you can knock this out, the rumor will be started, and we will take off some of your heat.
Okay, let's see
So
what we got.
we roll ourselves a 2. So
Oops.
you yeah. So you have lowered the heat by 1. So on you guys' sheets, you can all lower your heat by 1. So this rumor does not seem to take off here,
I tried.
just so you know. All right, let's move to our next person. I think if we went the order from last time, that would be back to Hunter. Is that correct?
Yes, I believe that's
All
correct.
right.
And I am also going to try to take some heat off the gang.
Okay, how do you do this?
So while we're kind of in our discussion with Hutton and was it Ulrich? I'm trying to get
Yes.
over my sheet. While we're still at this platoon, I'll kind of casually bring up. Did y'all hear what happened at Six Towers?
I
It's crazy. From what I hear, some great cloaks trying to pin it on someone else. You got to be careful. Those folks, they'll try to sweep that under the rug and blame someone else so quick.
I've heard of them. I'll put out the word amongst our folks to watch out for gray cloaks telling these type of rumors about us. Go ahead and make your roll.
All right.
I love it. This is all part of that evening that you're sitting there with these guys.
All right. Position? What would you say?
This is going to be risky as well because it could come back on you depending on how bad your roll is, and and it'll be a standard effect. You'll get them started looking and asking around, and the rumor can start that direction. And we have another 1 heat removed.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah, chipping away at it.
I would say that, these rolls have not been super great. So there may be folks around going, there's folks walking around trying to blame the Greycoats for whatever happened. But we'll see about that. Saber, what about your last downtime activity before we go into spending on downtime activities if you choose to?
Predictably, I'm also going to work on the heat. I'm going to go visit my buddy, Adelaide Frog. I don't know.
Okay.
She's a noble.
Oh. Where does she live? Is she in Brightstone, maybe?
I think she was.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do you know her?
That is a good question. I think that my character is kind of a flirt.
Okay.
And if anyone were trying to procure smuggled items, I'm not a bad man to know, and a bit of a flirt.
Very good. So this house is sort of octagon shaped, and it sits just off the river. It has a small crane out the back for lifting things out of small boats, and it has a double door out front on the main street. The esplanade that goes underneath the hook out back is about 2 or 3 people wide and has quite a few people walking on it. Has some people selling different wares and things like that. Are you at the front door or the servants' entrance at the back?
I think even though I have spiffied up as best I can, I'll go to the servants' entrance.
Okay. Knock knock, I assume.
Yes.
It doesn't take but a second or two, and the door opens, and there's a well-dressed man who's wearing white gloves, and he says, "Are we expecting something?"
Could you let Miss Freud know that her friend Mr. Degato is here to visit?
Ah, Mr. Degato. Uh, if you would follow me into the waiting room. And so
I
he
do.
he leads you down a dark hallway toward the back of the house where there's a lot of servants' areas, past a kitchen, and then you come into sort of a nicer area where the carpet picks up. And to the side, you're ushered into a what looks like a bit of a library that has a couple of seats as well as a table, and is lined with books on 3 walls, and then a bay window out to the street out of the front. It says, "If you will wait here," and he departs. It is a longer wait than you would prefer, but when the door opens, she sweeps in a mauve cloud of silk dress with ruffles. She is done up well.
I say, Adelaide, darling.
Ah, oh, my friend. This, he says, has Jives brought you a drink?
Oh, I'm afraid he is not, but that's okay.
Ah, Jives, please bring the brandy. And then he takes off out of the room with a slight frown, to which she flounces over and sits down on your lap.
um, I was
The
really worried
master's
about you.
away.
Oh, is he? He wasn't caught up in that terrible night. What was it? The thing
Six
that burned down.
in 6 towers. The
Terrible
nameless
business in
exhibition.
6 towers.
Ah, no, I did hear roughly about that. I heard that there is a Scovelander named Hunter who did. No, just joking. Once again, just joking. Says, I I had actually heard someone is passing around a rumor that the Gray Cloaks are doing it, but no one knows who those people are
Really?
passing the rumor.
That's interesting. I know we had talked about the market, the unspoken market. Was that it? Unspoken market?
Nameless exhibition. That's okay.
Nameless exhibition. And so I was worried that you would have been there and caught up in it somehow.
No, I wasn't feeling my best.
Okay. Well, that's a relief after all that's happened.
So,
So, who is the city council going to look into?
well, the Bluecoats, that captain, the new one, Drake Marn,
Mm-hmm.
he seems to be well on this case. Says he saw them fleeing. Might be able to describe one
Yes.
or two.
It feels to me like someone's really trying to make the Blue Cloaks look bad and incompetent. Maybe even the whole city council.
Oh, that'd be terrible.
It
Who do you think would
really,
do this
truly
type of
would
thing?
be. I mean,
Probably those Scovelanders. Those.
you think? I don't know. Because
Always insurrection, gunpowder plots.
they might be, but I don't know if it would make them, if it would benefit them to run the horde through the city.
The
You know, that just
horde?
kind of hurts the. Didn't you hear?
No. She sits
The
up.
horde showed up. I heard it because I had some friends who were on the wait staff.
No.
The
That
horde were there.
is terrifying.
Truly.
Something out of a nightmare.
Absolutely.
She shivers on purpose.
Kind of nuzzle into her neck and say,
Yeah.
It's okay. They're not here now.
Make your roll.
Oh no. What am I rolling for?
Don't be too convincing.
What are you using to convince?
Maybe sway,
Okay.
charm, logic, deception.
Very good.
Is it risky, control?
It is risky. If you were to just sort of tool this completely, you might stick out in her mind if someone else talks about this as leading on this whole discussion.
Mm-hmm. Effects are standard.
Yes.
Bonus dice. I don't think
So.
you get me.
A 4. So that is 2.
Oh,
So between all of you, you have pulled 4 off of your heat. So you have all gone through your downtime activities. Would you like to spend any coin for any further activities? For the price of a coin, you can get another activity. I think that's the correct amount. Or is it 2 coin? Dun, dun, dun.
I mean, I feel like we all tried to get rid of the heat on this gang, but it's not going super well.
Here's actually just a minute. Let me tell you something else. You can spend a coin after a roll to improve the result level. So a 1 through 3 could become a 4, or a 4 become a 5.
And what would the 5 do?
So on your heat, your 5 would 4 5 is still 2, but the other folks who had a 1 through 3, if they went up 1 level, theirs goes to 2. So 2, 4, 6. If you spent 2 coins,
that'd be a lot better.
So for the measly price of 2 coins spread around as you're doing what you're doing, you guys can take it down a total of 6
to just 3
from the beginning of that. So 2 more.
I would gladly chip in a coin for that.
I think that sounds like not a terribly bad plan. And by the way, that also can go for, if I'm right, for any downtime activity. After your roll, you can spend a coin to improve the result 1 level. So, for instance, if you were off 1 stress and you wanted it to go up 1 level, you could do that. But anyway, you have spent some coin, you've done some stuff.
I want to clarify real quick. The coin that we used, that's the coin in our boat, right? In our lair.
I think so. It's up to you guys how you want to do that. Whether it's your personal.
I'm fine with using crew gold for that.
Very good. All right. You're back to your boat. You guys have you've healed, you've reduced stress, you've taken some heat off. As a group, you're feeling a little bit better. Is anyone really struggling with anything as far as stress?
I'm doing better now.
I think I have 3 stress right now.
Total?
And I don't really want to risk it. Yeah.
Okay, that is a bit of a risk to overindulge with just 3.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are you guys doing? What are you talking about?
Well, I'm back on the boat. I'm making myself a lovely cup of what I imagine is mushroom tea, as is everything.
Most usually.
And I see my other 2 compatriots come in, and I tell them I got a potential lead for another heist.
Go on.
Well, do tell.
Um, I received some information that there's going to be a boat coming into the docks. The Goblin Ranger. It's going to be holding a whole lot of liquor barrels that will sell very nicely. Um, Thoughts on it at all? I know we don't have a whole lot else lined up.
Just liquor. They want us to steal liquor.
Well, liquor barrels specifically. There's stuff in the liquor barrels that I was not privy to know. Um, it looked like some sort of satchels or something, but and that's besides the point. They want the barrels themselves.
Did they actually
All I
say that?
need to know.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Krista?
So did they actually say that they want the barrels, or did they say they wanted the sachets? Or what?
Krista, you weren't there. He's telling you what he said.
Okay.
Nope. Be metagaming.
Metagaming. Saber.
I think it might be difficult to steal barrels. They're quite heavy.
Well, it's not the barrels themselves. It's what's in the barrels. I'm told it's something that is pretty easy for you to grab. So, and as many of these liquor barrel containers, as much of the content as we can grab. I didn't ask too many questions because it seemed like they were willing to put down a decent amount of coin for it. You know, in this industry, you don't like to ask a whole lot of questions.
Do they know how many packets we're trying to find?
I'm trying to remember if he actually did tell me. I'm just forgetting. No, I don't think he did. No, they didn't. They didn't specify, but I would imagine in a great big boat as the Goblin Ranger, there's probably a lot of these satchels, just as many as we can carry.
So what I'm hearing is there's something valuable being smuggled on this ship. So it's not very accountable to the government. And the buyer doesn't know how many there are. So sounds like we could make a little extra something too.
I'm not saying anything.
Well, I guess I'm in.
We should probably scout out the docks. So, real quick, this area, the docks, I didn't actually find the description of the map. Is this a fairly well-to-do off area? It looks pretty close to the White Crown.
It can be a little dodgy right down by the water, but up from that towards Brightstone is not as bad right across. It drops off quickly down the direction towards Crowsfoot. So you really only have a couple of decent neighborhoods that are perched right along Brightstone.
Okay. Well, I would say we'll try to find. We kind of get ins with the gondoliers a little bit. Maybe there's a nice secluded spot where we can park our boat and kind of do some scouting a little bit.
Okay. So let's see here. What I'd like to do then is start moving towards the heist. And so what we do is gather information. Okay. And I'm trying to find the gather information roles and where that is. Dun, dun. Long-term project. Nope. I want to go to, here we go. So page 36 is gathering information. And I'll jump there really quickly so I can make sure that I go to the right location. Bump. Sorry about that, as I am not as prepared as I would like. So gathering information. So before a heist, you can do a couple of gathering information roles. And um, so you can ask questions and then make a roll and sort of tell me how you're doing it. So examples are, and these are found on page 37. Let's say you might sway a lord at a party so he divulges his future plans. So your question would be, what does he intend to do? You could survey what's really going on here. Are they about to attack us? What are the best entrances? You can. So those are the type of things. So you tell me sort of what you're trying to do, and then we will make the roll and see what information you get. And you will either get limited, standard, or great amounts of information. And that breaks down the same as before: 1, 2, 3, limited; 4, 5, standard; 6 is great. So, what is a question one of you has, and how would you like to go about that for this particular heist? Like, where is the Goblin Ranger? Or
Yeah. So that would be an excellent. Which dock specifically are they going to?
very good. And would you like to tell me how you're gathering that information as far as which role you're going after? Are you swaying, talking to different people? Are you hunting for the information and whatever? I don't care.
So it's going to be hunting the information.
Very good. So make me a hunt roll and let's see what the result is.
All right. Risky.
Uh, no, this is controlled and standard. I think
Okay.
you actually don't have to do that for these particular roles. Let's see, what did you get?
I got a 6.
A 6.
Ooh.
Great information. Wonderful. So you find out that the Goblin Ranger has arrived just within the hour. It is out at the end of the second dock as you come from the bridge from Brightstone White White Crown. So right about there. It is at the very end of the dock and is painted all black, and its windows have all been shuttered to the darkness outside too, but so you can't see in. There's a small crew. The crew are Akarosi. They're from this area. They seemed nervous, and let's see if there's anything else I can give you with the 6. Um, they left a guard of 3 people on board, and most of them have headed off into town.
Okay. Just kind of not for a role necessarily, but just general like well-known knowledge. Is there like a Coast Guard? Is that a thing in this universe?
There's a patrol of the Navy that does sometimes come in and out of there,
Okay.
and there are some. The Bluecoats have their own boats that sort of patrol the canals and even out into the channel.
Gotcha. Okay. Uh, I'll let Reaper Saber have a whack at this.
Okay. Does anyone else have a question?
Mm. You said they did have some patrols.
There are some Bluecoat patrols as far as patrol boats,
Mm.
and
I kind of wanted to know how many people, or if any, would be on the boat still at night.
okay.
I think Dad said there were 3,
There are 3. Okay, that's
but I
all
guess
we
we
know.
could double check that to make sure.
It's up to you guys
I
what
don't
you
know
want
if it
to do.
was guarded. Well, if you already got the information, there are 3. And he did a pretty good roll. I'll trust Trent's information.
I guess some other questions that pop up in my mind. Um, so we know the security in the boat, but what about getting onto the dock itself?
Good point.
Okay.
Mm.
So what role do you want to do? And what is the exact question you're trying to find?
Okay. Is that roll for me?
Do you want? I could do it.
Yeah, whoever was planning to do that engagement roll, or that,
So
excuse me,
since I have a background in smuggling, I would imagine that I might know just people at the docks to be like, hey, have they changed their policies, procedures around,
Okay.
Gotcha.
So what is your question?
So
You're trying to get answered.
say, is, security on the dock the same as it's always been?
Okay.
It wouldn't be too difficult to get on a ship, right?
Okay. So let's make that roll.
Okay.
That is not a suspicious question at all.
I mean, I'm talking to low lives and smugglers.
People that she knows are smuggling
You're
things.
not talking about a
Maybe I'll say
specific.
it wouldn't be too difficult. Yeah, it wouldn't be too difficult to get things off of a ship. We'll go with that.
Yeah, there you go.
Without prying eyes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're poking around to some of the low lives, asking them a little bit about that type of stuff. Let's see what this roll gives us.
Risky, controlled.
It's this is a gather information, so just put whatever you want in those because it doesn't really count that way.
Okay. Bonus side?
Not that I know of.
Oh.
Expertise.
Okay, so you got a 3. So you got limited information. So the information you've got is that there are more guards out and about than seems normal tonight. And I can't give you anything else because of the dice roll.
Darn.
Does anyone else want to take one more stab at a gather information before we go into the engagement roll?
I don't know what to ask.
Fair enough.
So I guess not.
Maybe you guys have
I mean,
enough
if you want to
info.
ask about the guard situation, you could.
Doesn't hurt.
Trying to figure out how to word that to not be suspicious, though, because I'm not on the
You're not a
dock.
smuggler.
And
Yes.
yeah, they don't know me. I'm just a random dude being like, hey, man, is this place guarded at night? So
Well, you
maybe I won't.
may have talked with Saber. Am I right? And heard that what was found out, and so maybe you can riff off that. Hey, there's more guards. What's that about?
Okay, maybe I can throw Saber's name out there. Hey, I work with Saber.
That's what I do. And I'd say that hunter guy probably knocked down that building in 6th round.
Yeah.
6 hours.
Heats off me, man.
Okay, so what's your question? And let's make this roll.
Yeah, I'll find someone who I think I've seen Saber talk to before.
Okay.
Hey, I'm an associate of I just lost her name in my head. Sorry. Saber. I'm an associate of Saber's. They wanted me to come check out this guard details on the docks if anything has changed.
Huh. Saber's looking at the guard situation, huh? Well, he's always been a bit of a scallywag. He pats his flat cap down on his head. It's pretty rainy. It's oiled leather of some sort. This is flat cap, and the water's running off of it nicely down into his long beard. He says, "Look, we don't know what's going on, but and I need to get your roll here so I know how much to tell you."
Okay. You said it doesn't matter if it's risky.
Nope, doesn't matter. What are you doing? Are you swaying? Are you consorting?
I'm studying.
You're studying. How are you doing that? I'm just interested.
Study. Do research is one of the Well, that might be different. Study a person, document or items, scrutiny to gather information, apply knowledge, gain deeper understanding, do research. Oh, maybe I'll switch it to hunt. Yeah, I'll do hunt instead.
Okay. However you
Sounds
want to
good.
do it, we'll
I'll
make
do
it
hunt.
work.
Gather
Okay.
information about his location movements. Yeah. Do hunt.
Very good.
Poop.
Okay, let's see what happens when he goes to answer. Look at that, a 4.
4.
Okay, so you get some information here. It says, look, one of the lords has taken an interest in the second pier. Look at him. He points over, and there's a couple of sort of tall individuals that are standing near around. You might not have clocked it immediately if he hadn't pointed them out as being around the front of that particular pier. There's about 4 folks, and you can see that they've got the points of sword sheaths that are poking out below their cloaks, their dark cloaks that they've got wrapped around them. They have tricorn hats pushed down firmly on their heads and are lounging. They're not running around like the rest of everybody. Now that you've noticed them, they stick out. Everybody else has a box in their hand or doing something or other. These guys are just sort of lounging.
Gotcha. Okay. I'll take that.
Can I have a kind of a follow-up clarification to
Sure,
my
you can
info
make another.
gathering? I am curious about the cargo manifest on this boat. Because the information I got said that there's going to be barrels. Didn't say how many barrels.
Okay.
That might change our approach a little bit.
Very interesting. So you know where the harbor master's office is. You know that when ships arrive, they got to take their bill of lading to the harbor master's office. It gets filed away. In some ways, that's almost a score in itself. But we will see. What I'm going to basically do is make this harder. So, limited information, you basically can't get anything. If you get the moderate roll, then you'll get limited information. And if you get great success, you'll get standard information. Okay.
Okay.
And so you can tell me how you go about conning the person in here to let you see this bill of lading, or if you just sneak in, or whatever you want to do. Let me know.
What's the chief's name? Drake, right? Lord Drake.
You mean the new blue coat captain, Drake Marn?
Yeah. Drake. Yeah.
Drake Marn. Yep. He's the one that's trying to hunt you guys down from the last event.
Okay. As I'm walking towards the harbor master's office, I'm trying to spy for just like a crate or something, just so I can pick it up and make myself look busy as a worker.
Okay. Perfect.
I'll go ahead and find one and pick it up, and I'll kind of quickly go over.
Freaking heavy.
I would imagine so. So as quickly as I can, I'll go to the harbor master's.
It's this is ridiculous. This is way heavier than you're expecting for this. There is another smaller box not too far away.
Yeah. Okay. I'll go ahead. I'll go ahead and grab that one.
Switch it out. Okay.
Like,
anyway, I'm
okay.
just having fun. Just having fun.
Okay. These folks are strong. Holy smokes. Okay.
In you go. Okay.
Okay. And so I'm assuming that this is kind of a small office a little bit.
It's actually it's got a single. It's up on stilts so that you can see out across the harbor. And it has a broad stair going up to a single door. There's windows all the way around the top, and there are 2 desks and a bunch of filing cabinets inside. And there's a single harried-looking person who is going through a ledger.
Gotcha. Okay. So I'm going to kind of walk up the stairs. I'm going to knock on the frame, and I'm going to poke my head in.
Enter.
Hey, Drake's over. Drake's over on the other side of the docks. Seemed like it was pretty important. You might want to go check it out.
Drake, are you trying to talk about the new blue coat captain that's been making all the stir?
Yeah, he looked like he was having a fit over there. You might want to check him out before we send some folks down here.
Ugh, gotta be kidding me. Okay, make your roll, and we'll see if he leaves and if you find the stuff. We'll all be part of this roll.
All right. Oh,
Yeah, he's
yikes.
like, says, I've got men for that. He says, just a minute. He stands up, he looks out the window, he waves somebody. Hey, that blue coat Drake Martin is supposedly making trouble over by the Pier 6. Says, what's your name again?
He's looking at me.
Yeah.
He says, "Oh, I'm a temp. I'm George."
Ah, okay. Who's your foreman?
Shoot, I don't know.
I need to take this report.
Yeah. Let me.
I know
sorry,
it's hard. I know it's hard for you temps. That's fine. He says,
I'm sorry about that, sir. I'll make sure to drill it in.
Okay. He doesn't give you any more grief, and you slip away sadly, not knowing more about the bill of lading, which probably could have had some very interesting things in it.
I know
Very
it was
good.
a good idea, but
It was a great idea.
not in my luck.
So, with that said, we're going to force you guys into the actual engagement. So, what we're going to say is this an assault?
Yes.
Which is to do violence to a target.
Yes.
Is this deception? Lure, trick, or manipulate? Is this stealth? Trespass unseen? Is this occult? Engage a supernatural power? Is this social? Negotiate, bargain, or persuade? Is this transport? Carry cargo or people through danger?
I think we'll start with
I think
stealth.
we sneaky.
I was gonna say it's either going to be
Start with
stealth. I would have liked to know how much cargo was in here because this either could have been sneaky or it could have been a full-on cargo run.
What if we just steal the whole ship?
I was just thinking that. As I said, what if we pulled our ship next to their ship?
So, tell me which of these you're choosing before you get into your planning too much, because that's the joy of this game.
We'll do sneak to start,
Stealth.
I think. And
So, now I will ask you the question. Detail the point of infiltration.
Do like your thought, Krista, bringing the boat up, our little houseboat up to the side, and just trying.
I'm not sure if our little canal boat will be able to have any get up and go if we are in an issue.
That's
It's
true.
not
And also
super
safe for the
fast.
harbor.
It's not super fast, but it can chug away.
I want to say it's like a standard gondolier. Is that any quicker?
No, it's got an engine. Your boat has an actual electroplasm run engine that's a 2-stroke type chunk 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 chunk, and you can get up to enough speed that you would be waved down by a blue coat boat in the canals for going too fast, but you're really not going to be pulling any water skiers or anything like that.
I was gonna say that'd be pretty slow in the canal and the channel.
Yep. And it is fairly flat bottomy and all that. You don't have a lot of chop in the channel, but you have a little bit more than you do in the canals.
We should have tried to find the people on land and steal their uniforms from them.
So, what is your point of infiltration?
Well, I guess it'll be just walking on the boat, right? I don't know.
There are multiple boats out that pier.
That's true. The problem we run into going through the pier is that we know there are at least 4 guards out there. So we either need to draw them away or not look suspicious. One of those two. If that's the route we ended up going for.
We do have some blue coats that we stole way back when.
And
When was that?
so once again, we are rapidly getting into the planning, and what I'd like to do is work through your engagement roll. So I'm just looking for a point of entry. Is it through deception? You're being sneaky, going straight on the boat. You're coming in off a small skiff off the water side. I don't
Okay,
know.
so I got an idea, right? There's a lot of workers around this dock. Okay, it worked for me getting into the harbor master's office. Maybe it'll work for us getting on the boat. Just grab a crate and just go.
Okay, so the direct approach. So I'm going to ask you now: is this operation particularly bold or daring?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
I would say
so
so.
you get an extra die for this roll.
Nice.
Is the operation overly complex or contingent on too many factors?
Yes.
I would not
No,
say so.
probably not.
It's
Not
just
really
getting
complex.
on the boat and looking.
Not really.
Very good. So you still have 1 die. Does the plan's detail expose a vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest?
I don't think so.
Is the target strongest against this approach or have particular defenses or special preparations?
I would say yes. There's guards right on the front of the pier. So.
Okay. And can any of your friends or contacts provide aid or insight for this operation?
I have no friends.
I'm going to give you a die for that because you did learn about this from your folks. Okay.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
So I think that still leaves us 1 die. Are there any other elements you'd like me to consider that would influence this die roll?
Consider that there's like a one way in, one way out difficulty.
Okay.
You
So
could
what I'll
consider
wind up
that.
doing is instead of penalizing you a whole bunch more, what I'm going to do is give you the 1 die roll, and this assumes you're approaching the target as intelligently as you can. The engagement roll covers a lot of this. Oh, and before you do the engagement roll, I'd like you to pick your loadout on your character sheet. Understanding you're walking up the gangplank towards the boat.
I was going to say, so just for clarification, light is you look like a normal person.
Light, normal person.
Normal, you look like a blue coat, and then heavy, it looks like you're about to assault someplace.
Yeah. And, you could probably get away with normal as far as, okay, you get a little backpack on as you're doing your other work. Okay, gotcha. It might look a little off, but not terribly. I'm not going to give you any penalties to your rolls for that, if that makes you feel better.
Okay, I'm going to do a light load.
Okay.
I'm going to go normal.
Normal and?
I'm going to do normal.
Okay. All right. So let's make this engagement roll. You get 1 dice for sheer luck, and then you get a second die, like I said, for the major advantage, the other advantage. So you guys, I will give you 2 dice. Okay.
So are we each rolling that?
Nope. 1 person gets to roll it. 2 dice. 1 to 3 means you're in a desperate position starting out. 4 to 5, you're in a risky, and 6 yields a controlled position. And a critical carries the action beyond the initial obstacle and deeper into the action of the score.
I was going to say, for the bonus dice, I would have argued that my character is familiar with the docks and dock working and how to look natural and at home there, and could probably have coached everyone else about how it is on the docks.
Sling.
I am perfectly happy with that. And instead of making you take a flashback for it, because you said it now, take a 3rd die and roll 3 dice.
Yeah.
And let us see what you guys get. Who's going to do it?
You roll it.
And you can do that either just off the roll 20 dice on the side, or you can, I think there's a place actually on your character sheet, but that might be.
Krista, you go ahead and roll it.
You want me to do it? Okay.
3 dice.
3d6s?
Yes.
Nice.
3, a 4, and a 1. So you got a 4, which is a risky position. That's where we start out our score. So we are
Great.
starting you guys at the end of the pier. You have boxes. Hi ho, you're going to work. And you sort of each push your way towards the front of the pier in question. One of the tall men twirls his mustache, tamps out a cigarello that he's been smoking, and steps in front and says, "What's your business?"
We got supplies here to take aboard the.
You can see several boats down from you, so just tell me a name.
Okay.
It's not
we
the
got.
minnow.
We're taking supplies.
It's not the
For
Titanic.
not the Titanic. The Green Bottom.
Ah, are you now? Who's the
That I
captain?
am.
Who's the captain?
George.
He squints his eyes at you.
Just be confident. Say George again.
It's George. I didn't catch his last name.
Give me a roll.
All right. This seems. I'll say this is a commanding presence. Maybe a bit risky.
Okay. It is going to be. Actually, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make it a desperate situation, so you can mark that.
Okay.
And it will have a standard effect. Now, understand, you can burn stress for an extra die, or you can burn stress to change the position, though you will still get your experience for it.
So adjust the position. That's moving it from desperate to risky.
Yes.
Okay.
Which basically just, if you have a bad roll, the outcome that I narratively give you will be different based upon the subjective viewpoint of it being risky or desperate.
Okay. I'm going to spend a stress to make it risky.
Very good. So it's actually, I want to say, 2 stress.
2 stress. Okay.
And I may need to double check that. I'll let you. You can fix that if I did it incorrectly in a minute. But go ahead and take 2 stress now, and then you can change that to risky. We can make the roll, and then you can go back and check and see if I was lying to you.
Okay. And the effect?
The effect is going to be standard. You will have him convinced that you know what's going on. So let us see. The fiction itself. Okay, so you had 1 die, and you got a 4, which is a success with a complication.
Oh,
So
okay.
he goes, "Oh, okay," and you can tell he didn't know the name of the captain. He was fudging it.
Okay.
Right? So you guys start to go past. He says, "I guess I'll go with you," and he starts following you along. That's the consequence.
Push him off the dock.
Okay, fair enough. No, we can't do that.
Okay. Do you say that out loud? I'm just joking. Okay, so you guys are moving up the dock. You're about 3 boats away from the Green Bottom, and you're about 6 boats away from the Goblin Ranger.
Okay. So here's what I'm thinking, guys. Right. I guess an important question to ask is how far are these boats tied away? Like, could you feasibly jump from one to another?
Let's do a luck roll. Roll 1d6. If it's 1 through 3, you can. If it's no, you can't. And above is you can. Pure. Okay, so they're tied close enough together that you could jump from boat to boat to boat.
Okay. So maybe you all are seeing where I'm going with this, but we'll go ahead and take these boxes to the green bottom. We'll see what happens with this guard, but this seems like the best point right now.
Very good. So at the gangplank to the green bottom, there is a guard. He sort of slouched. He goes, "Oi, what you guys up to?" He has a small bottle
We're
beside
being
him.
escorted here to bring this stuff aboard.
Oh, okay. Sounds good to me.
I'll get paid enough for this.
Carry on.
All right. So we'll go ahead and head up the gangplank.
And what's your problem? He says to the other guard. Says, I'm just checking out the ships here. He seems a little bit, and they get into a little bit of a back and forth about the ships that are here and what the guy's doing. You guys are onto the ship.
Perfect. Okay. Is there anyone else on the deck?
You don't see anyone on the deck. No, it's a large flat deck that has a wheelhouse that's about the size of a garden shed. It's got glassed-in windows and a a wheel inside. Um, the sides of it come up about 4 feet, so you could technically duck down behind it. There's stairs going down the middle of the ship into the hold, and that's about all there is to this particular ship.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm just gonna go ahead and drop my box off on just on top of the deck. I'm finished with that. And we'll need to move fairly quickly because I don't know how long they're going to expect us to come back.
Gotcha. So from where he's standing at the bottom of the gangplank, um, he can see you about 2/3 across the ship before you start dipping out of his line of sight.
Okay. 2/3 across the ship.
Yep, and then if you sort of crouch a little bit, about halfway across the ship, he can't quite see you from his angle down on the dock, up the side of the ship, and where you're at. See what I'm saying?
I think so. Yeah. So there is a point at the ship where you can be out of sight.
Yes. So you drop your boxes off, duck down a little bit. You're sort of out of his line of sight. You guys can move around as you please at this point.
All right. Looking at the boats ahead. So we know that scrolling down, we know the Goblin Ranger has 3 guards aboard. I'm looking, and you said that's 3 boats ahead, right?
Yes.
So 2 boats in between us and the Goblin Ranger. So I'm going to be peeking out, looking. Is there anyone that I can see on the decks of the 2 boats in front of us?
So this clock I just moved up here is the guard at the base, the tall guard that put out his little cigarello and followed you. Figures out that you guys are not where you're supposed to be.
Oh, really? A 4?
Yeah.
Give us a 6.
Oh, you're gonna argue. Oh, we'll see. And we'll tick those off by you guys failing rolls and things like that. Okay. So what do you guys do again?
So I'm gonna take a peek to see the 2 boats in front of us. If there's anyone on the deck.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is for each of those boats, I'd like you to roll a luck roll. 1 through 3, there is someone on the deck, a singular guard. A 4, 5, 6, there's nobody, and we'll deal with it from there.
Okay. So
I love these luck. I love luck rolls in this game because you just.
I'm glad you do. I don't know if I do as the player. So we'll start with the first boat.
Okay, let's see what's on the first boat.
That's a 2.
A 2, wonderful. So there's a guy, and he is sitting on the deck, and he's got a small pipe. He's leaned back against its wheelhouse, and the pipe is burned out, and his head is tilted down, and he appears that his tricorn hat is pulled down over his eyes, and he is sleeping.
Okay.
At least that's the
So,
appearance.
is he a crew member?
Probably so. He's not wearing shoes. He's bare. Actually, yeah, he is. He's got rope-sole sandals. His pantaloons are sort of turned up around the ankles, like the sailors tend to do.
Okay.
You want to
Can
roll
I
for the
can I
next
see
vote?
Yeah, we might as well.
Let's see.
A 3.
Nice. So on that one, there's a guy who is moving a couple of boxes around. They look like lobster traps, and it's a smaller boat. And he is working on the boat right now.
And are those all the boats between us and
Yep.
just the two? I mean, I still think we could hop over.
I think so. If we do it quietly.
Do you
I'll
want
lead
to
the way
do-
with a prowl.
Okay, so you're going to lead. I love this. So how this works, this is a group roll. So both Reaper and Hunter will make a prowl roll. That roll will either be a success, and we keep an eye on what the number is, because the highest success overall is what goes. Okay? If you fail, then Saber gets stress.
Works for me.
So I don't get to roll my prowl?
You will after they've rolled theirs. So Reaper, roll your prowl.
You're saying risky. 4.
4. Okay. So you succeeded, and that means that she does not take any stress, or he, Saber. And now we'll have Hunter roll.
All right, and I got a 4 as well.
4 as well. So no extra stress from carrying your buddies across. But so far, we have a limited success that will have a consequence of some sort. So now you roll, and you can spend extra stress if you would like. This is risky, and this is a standard effect. And we have a 5. Very good. So you pull them all across. The consequence that I will give you on this is we tick the clock.
Butts.
Boom.
That seems like a fair trade.
Okay.
Disagree.
And you move across. He stays asleep. And the person working on the next boat does not notice anything. He now appears to be sitting cross-legged. He is actually sadly facing your direction, but he is heads down and appears to be mending a net in this low light. And he has a small lantern in front of him so that he can see what is going on. And you can smell the noxious smell of the Leviathan blood burning raw.
Mm. Do we try it again, guys? Hop over? I have a...
No, we made it across both the boats.
Was that for both boats?
Well, you said we went
You know what?
across.
I will say this. Typically, you don't double jeopardy, folks, in this game. And so I would say that makes all the sense in the world that you made that roll to get all the way across. Okay?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that is fair enough. So you pass the guy who is there, and then you make the last leap over. And I'd like the last luck roll, Trent, to see if anyone's on the goblin.
Okay. A 6.
Look at that.
This
No
lucky
one
me.
is on deck except for you three. The goblin itself has 3 masts. It's bigger than the rest of the ships. Maybe that's why it's out at the far end. It has 2 entrances going down into the bowels of the ship. It has a raised stern where the wheelhouse is, and it has 2 doors in the just below that stern area, the aft castle, or what do you want to call it? There's a teeny forecastle, and then and there's a light coming out of one of the portholes windows in one of the doors that's sort of against that aft end. Okay, so if you can imagine that there's stairs going up, there's the back. I can't think of the words because it's late. Um, so at the aft of the ship where they've got the wheel, the stairs go up to that. There's two doors down below that. One of those has light coming out of it. The rest of the ship seems fairly dark.
Thoughts, crew?
Guess we head down to the cargo bay area.
Yeah.
So
I would say we'll take the path that's not lit, assuming someone's not there.
so you're going away from the back side of the ship, sort of towards the middle where there's the stairwell going down. Okay. So what I'm going to say is I'd like you to make a roll to do this stealthily, and this move will take you across the boat and down the stairs all the way without anyone noticing you.
Hmm.
Did you say it was like a stealth or a prowl?
It's up to you.
I can do a prowl. I can lead it, I guess.
All right. Let's knock this out. So Reaper, let's roll a prowl.
5.
Nice. No stress. Hunter.
A 2.
Okay. You get a stress.
1 stress.
Got it. And now make your roll. We already know this is a success in some way, shape, or form. But we're looking for that 6. There's the 6.
Nicely
The
done.
clock does not tick forward.
Huzzah.
You guys are at the base of the stairs. You can see that it's a broad, open area that has hammocks hanging, and it actually has a couple of steam-driven guns that are inside, hidden behind some doors in the sides of the ship. There are 2 of them.
Is that normal?
It's not necessarily normal for a trader, but yeah, I don't know. And then there's stairs further down into the hold itself. There's a broad square, okay, that's got a lattice of wood above that you came down just underneath, and that can be raised and lifted for like a crane to reach down. And then there's a broad square hole again going into the hold. You can actually look down into the hold from here, and then there's some stairs next to it that go down. The hold itself has a bunch of boxes from which you can see from here. Sort of, you can see that there are 2 barrels that are the furthest towards the front of the ship. And then where your stairs come down, sort of in the middle of all these boxes, the boxes themselves look strangely like coffins.
Okay. You know what? My job is not for the coffins. My job is here for the barrels.
Great looks on your faces, though, team.
All right. So have we made ourselves down into the hold at
Yes,
this point?
you can go
Okay.
down. You're in the hold. You are now standing. There are basically on the floor. There are about 8 of these coffin shapes that are scattered about, and then you can sort of wind your way through those and get to the barrels on the far side. Now you can just go striding across if you want. You probably don't think that anyone above will hear you. Now you could be really sneaky and stealthy if you would like to do, just for whatever reason.
I don't like how you're suggesting that.
I think we should be sneaky.
No, you're right. You should probably just pound right across there. What are you guys thinking?
I know there's people aboard this boat, so I'm still trying to be quiet.
I think so. I think so. Do you guys want to attempt the same maneuver again just to get to the barrels?
The prowl.
Yep.
Saber, how's your stress?
I've only got 2, so I can handle it for now.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. Sneaky, sneaky they go. Young Reaper?
Oh, yes. Excuse me. Excuse me, cat. I need to get to my mouse pad. Oh, bye, buddy. Okay, prowl. Go. 6.
Oh, look at that.
We prowl.
You guys have already succeeded.
We're done.
All we really are finding out is whether or not you take any stress from Trent. Yes, you do. Look at
Freaking
that.
Trent.
I sure do every day.
And but I will say, if you want to go ahead and roll as well, if you get a 6 as well, we'll count that as a critical. Okay? I'll be kind that way. Look at that. So we will count this as a critical success. You guys move quietly all the way across this room like ghosts. And before you are the 2 barrels. The barrels themselves have, it looks like they have a fairly easy to remove top. So you're not going to be like having to tear these things open.
Oh,
And they're marked water butts.
water what?
Yeah, you heard me.
Just checking.
Is it water bugs?
But like a measurement.
Oh,
You go to the water butt to get some water. Listen,
Okay.
you guys, I tell you what, kids these days, very good.
so you said the top is fairly easy to open.
Yes, and
I open
quietly.
it. And
Very
is
good.
there?
There are 3 leather satchels in each of them.
Thank goodness! Don't scare me like that, man.
Is there
Very
any
good.
liquor?
Does not appear to be. No.
I
Underneath
brought a
that,
flask just in case.
yeah,
Good thinking.
underneath it is it looks like flour or something that they've packed and moved across. It's just sort of
Okay.
filling up the rest of the gap.
You said there's 3 satchels in here.
Yep, 3 in each. So there's 6 satchels total. The satchels are like about half the size of a saddlebag. So you can probably carry 2 to 3 apiece without really any encumbrance going across. So however you want to do it, and there's only 6. So
Okay. So I'd say we divide it up evenly. Each person gets 2.
perfect. Very good. You can actually clip these to your belts if you'd like on either side. They're just really big.
We'll do that.
Oh,
Okay.
perfect. Okay.
So you guys have done such. Now,
I was gonna say,
And-
I think I'll put mine in my backpack.
I'm not going to super double jeopardy, triple jeopardy you, but what I'd like to do is to get a roll to work all the way past the coffins, up the stairs, all the way to the deck. Some roll. You can group it. You can.
You know, we've been pretty good with our group roles so far. I think we'll keep that up.
Okay. Reaper, what are you rolling? Are you, Krista? What's the roll they're doing?
We're prowling.
Prowling. Okay. Let's have that.
Okay.
Let's have that prowl.
Prowling
For
like a
confirmation, the more red dots next to my prowl, I get an extra die. Is that what I'm putting in?
You just click on it. It should roll it.
Okay, that's what I've been doing. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then this is risky. Okay. So Krista,
Wait.
you take a stress.
Okay.
All right. Trent, let's see yours. There's the 6 we needed.
Yeah, Trent, come through.
Very nice. All right. Oh, and look at that. So what we're going to do is, because of the extra 6s, you have made it up out of the ship, and you can even get off the ship. Tell me where you're headed off of the ship. You can hear some singing now, sort of coming from in the door, where that light's coming out of as you're leaving the deck. Are you just going to walk back onto the pier? Or are you going to go back across the other boats? In fact, with your double six, if you want to get all the way back to your starting position on the green bottom, I will give that to you.
That would be my preference.
Okay.
Okay.
So you guys move past the guy who is working on his net. You move past the sleeper. You're back onto the green bottom, and you can hear the quarreling going on at the bottom of the gangplank.
All right. I guess go ahead and get your acting faces on. We're workers again. And we'll go ahead and single file back down the plank.
My lord, you hear the voice of the guy who you guys talked to at the very beginning. And as you come down the gangplank, you can see that there are about 8 of those tall individuals walking down the gangplank. And in the front, you recognize from having seen his face on a plate that was a display in a store. You remember one time that you actually guys went to the opera together. You saw him up in one of these big, way up high in one of the opera booths. It's Lord Skurlock.
Oop.
And you guys can look that one up later. It is Lord Skurlock. He looks pale, almost albino, and he is striding down. He says, "Come, we must gather my brethren." And the guy who is standing there at the base of the your set of stairs coming off that boat goes to join the rest of the group as they walk down the gangplank, not the gangplank, down the pier towards the Goblin Ranger.
Cool. Okay, so I'm gonna time my walk in such a way that they're gonna hopefully pass us, and then we can go ahead and get back out into the pier and walk behind them.
Brilliant.
Up the pier.
So, to not draw any attention from any of the guards, there will be a last roll. This is the last roll of the game to end this score and get you safely away with your stash. How do you want to play this? A group sway where you're talking to the guys, the guy below? Is it are you trying to stealth it again? Are you trying to you guys tell me what your plan is.
Well, I used my command presence to get us on the boat, and so I would assume I can use that air of confidence to get us off.
So your command air of confidence. So, Reaper, are you joining in this? I assume. For a group roll. Let's have your command roll.
I might be taking a lot of stress for this.
We shall see. Oh, 5. Look at that.
But not for
me. And Saber? Oh, so
also 5.
Well, look at that. So what's your roll, Hunter?
All right, let's see.
You gotta stress yourself out, Trent.
So you do take a stress out of this thing, but you also get to go with their 5. So what happens with that is, believe it or not, all I'm going to do is click that clock one more time. The guy never figured out that you guys did anything. Off you go. You have gathered your stash, which you can now give Ulf Ironborn. You have seen something very strange is happening on the the Goblin Ranger. Something maybe a little scary. Maybe we're learning something about Lord Skurlock.
I kind of wanted to set it on fire before we left, but they were all, no, stealth. I was like, no.
I mean, that might have been good. I mean,
Absolutely.
We just destroy places we raid, burn them to the ground, raise them.
Y'all are determined to get us wanted, aren't you?
Exactly.
You know what, Trent? It's nice to feel wanted sometimes.
Absolutely. So if and when we get to do this again, I would love to give you guys your treasure from this after you've sold this. So you're going to get some coin. You're going to have complications. There's heat. There's the whole bit. But I think that really it was a pretty slick little maneuver all the way through.
Very
Good
sneaky.
rolls when you needed it. You carefully moved and maneuvered your stress. You made some good choices on spending stress when you needed to make sure that it wasn't a desperate roll, that it was a risky just in case things went south. And things could have really gotten out of control. Um, it could have really, really, really gotten out of control. So very well done. I'll call it a night here. If you guys will stay on, what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and end out the stream, and then I will chat with you guys a little bit on Skype afterwards. If you can hang on right here.
And Reaper's a little
And
sad
that's
that didn't get to
not
kill
where I
anyone.
wanted to be. Where I wanted to be was here. Come here. Hey, so that was a what a score sort of looks like in Blades in the Dark. It's neat because it just sort of happens. You run through the downtime, you have some ideas, and next thing you know, the troop is going off to do something exciting. They really skated tonight. I will have to say it was just about as
Sneaky.
smooth a heist as you can possibly plan. Now, there will be some interesting complications, and we'll get to those when we get a chance to play with these folks again. But Ulf's not a great guy, and they're going to figure that out the hard way. And Lord Skurlock is going to be a very vengeful man when he finds out certain things have been removed from his boat that may not be exactly what the guys thought they were. Anyway, we'll
That's
get
all.
to that another time. And I thank you so much for watching our stream. And that was our DC Bandits group playing Blades in the Dark. All right. Thank you guys.